Alrighty, so we're investing $3,000 in a college savings account. It's 8.97% compounded annually from 2021 to 2036. So we're trying to figure out how much will be in this account by 2036. So this is invested in the year 2021, right? So the year is, 2021, and we want to figure out for 2036, right? And so figure out the balance. So this is kind of like, the time, or your t is kind of like 0 at this point, right? If you think about the formula, right? It's annual. This is the average annual return, or the annual percentage yield. Same thing. It's the annual interest rate, right? So we're not compounding monthly, we're compounding annually. So we just use that rate. And by the way, what's that rate as a decimal? 0.1. 0.0897. So that's the first thing we have to figure out. It's how to convert a percent to a decimal. So if you take the percent 3%, that's 3 over 100, which makes 0.03. Oh, not 97? Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so that's our percents, or 50%, right? That would be 50 hundredths, which is 0.5 and all that. We're okay with percents? So this is just percents. So this is just 8.97%. I mean, all you do is just move this decimal 0.2 spots to the left. So it's 0.0897, right? So that's our rate, 0.0897, right? And then we look at the balance, right? So year 2021, the balance is 3,000. Now, just for fun, I know we got to get 2036, but I just wanted you to tell me what's going to be in there in 2022. Figure that out for 2022. So that's when your kind of your time is 1 after 1 year. So we need to get, I'm just going to do this the long way. The 897% of 3,000 to get the interest, the annual interest at the end, right? So that's 0.0897 times 3,000, and we'll just round that to the nearest cent. But multiply that in your calculator, you should get $269, right? But you can't just have $269. What happened to the 3,000, right? So we need our 3,000 plus this, right? So we need 3,269 at the end of the year, right? Now the question is, how can I get my 3,269 in one operation, with one go? Not multiply, not get the interest and then add it on. How do I get it all at once? Do one operation to get that answer. We had a whole day set aside to figure this out. How do you get that answer with one operation? With one operation. Back to this thing. How to get the answer in one go is you go 3,000 times 1 plus 0.0897. Remember that? We had a whole lesson of this. Okay, so, or 3,000, even better, times 1.0897. 1.0897. And round that, plug that in the calculator, everybody, and then just round it to the nearest decimal. 3,000 times 1.0897. So rounded to the nearest dollar, it's $3,269, right? Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right. So, you know, the long way would be, okay, let's get 8.97%. That's the interest of what this was the previous year, 3,269, and we'll add it on. So that would be, you know, 0.0897 times 3,269. That's getting the 0.0897 times 3,269. That would be getting the interest from what was on there last year. So that's $293. I'm rounding. And then I add these together. So I go, you know, I go 3,269 and then I add 293. 3,269. The previous, which is the previous amount from last year plus the interest. So it shouldn't be surprising at all that it's just this, right? Does that make sense? So that's what it should be. But the faster way is, okay, so instead of getting that and adding on, why don't we just do 3,269 and multiply that by 1.0897? Because that'll give me my amount back from the end of 2022, and it'll also give me interest, right? But even better, 3,269 is just this, as we saw before. It's just 3,000 times 1.0897, right? This times this gives this anyway. And if I just multiply it by 1.0897, I'll get the next year's amount in interest back, right? And I have the same thing times the same thing, so I can use an exponent to represent that. So it's just 3,000 times 1.0897 all squared, isn't it? Right. And so in a calculator, to do that, it would just be 3,000 star 1.0897 to the power of 2, right? Right? So that would be doing it in one go, right? So let's see. Yep. So 3,562, right? Which is what we were hoping to get, 3,562. Round to the nearest dollar, that's just 3,562 at the end of the year 2023, rather, right? So the question is 2036, what's in there, right? So we're investing 3,000 at this amount of interest from 2021 to 2036. So at the end of 2036, what's in there? So everybody just press pause on the video and just take your time. Just take your time and see what you get. Okay, so 2036 is how many years since 2021, right? So we put it in 2021, so 2036, if I subtract that, that's 15 years later. All right, so that's $3,000 invested for 15 years. You know, and we know the compound interest formula is your amount times 1 plus the rate to the power of t, right? Which is what we were kind of relearning with this, playing around. But after 2 years, it would be this. So it's $3,000 invested at 1 plus the rate at 0.0897 to the power of 15, right? Now in a calculator, that can just be 3,000 star, and you can just add these, 1.0897 897 to the power of 15. And your calculator understands the order of operations PEMDAS. So it's going to do exponents first. It understands PEMDAS. So it's going to do the exponent, and then it's going to multiply, right? I mean, so you can do, or if you want to, you can do 3,000, probably just parenthesis, and then 1 plus your 0.0897, and then parenthesis, and then 15. That will also work. So this or this, you might have to put a star here. It depends on your calculator. Maybe you need a star here, maybe you don't. But in any case, one of those, I'll do this one. So 3,000. So 3,000 star 1.0897 to the power of 15. Enter, and we get that. And just round that to the nearest dollar, right? Can you see my calculator screen? Okay. Okay. So the exponent, of course, is that little hat sign there. And it's usually a hat on most calculators, or the exponent on a calculator, it might look like this, something like x to the power of y or something like that. But let me know if you guys need calculator help, right? But see if you can get that. So you should get 10,882. Yeah. You okay with that? Okay. So what happened to our money? We had $3,000 lying around, and it turned into how many dollars after 15 years? Okay. Now, a couple of things on that. Did your money double or triple or what, roughly? So if you take that and divide it by the initial amount, 3,000, you get 3.6. So this is 3.6 times more than this. It's almost 4 times, right? So your money increased in 15 years almost 4 times, all right? So that's one way of thinking about investments. The other thing is, don't forget about inflation, because money in 2036 buys you less than dollars in 2021, right? So if you want to adjust for inflation roughly, you can just subtract about 3 or 4%. Subtract about 3%. That's about the average inflation over the last 100 years. It's different every year. Some years it's high, some years it's low. Some years inflation's only 2%, sometimes it's 3. So instead of 8.97, you could use maybe 5.97 to kind of get it in $21. So we could do something like this. The exact same thing, only instead of an 8, just put in a 5, press enter, and you're really looking at more like $7,000 in today's money. So roughly double, right? So that's an idea, but it's still more. But of course, the biggest trick of all is to have $3,000 that you don't need for anything else, because we have to live and pay bills and stuff. So how do you have $3,000 that you don't need? That's the trick, right? Okay.